I want you to picture a scenario. And if you're a retail executive, which I know most of you listening are, you don't even need to close your eyes. You've seen this.
Oh, yeah. You might have seen it yesterday on a floor walk.
Exactly. So it's, say, 2:00 p.m. on a Saturday. Your flagship store is busy. You're just standing near the entrance, kind of observing the flow.
The best place to be, watching the reality of the business.
Right. And you see a customer walk in, and you can tell immediately they are not browsing. They're not looking for inspiration. They are on a mission.
Phone in hand.
Phone in hand, screen glowing, and they walk with this, like, purpose straight up to one of your associates.
I know exactly where this is going. The phone is the weapon here.
It is. The customer holds up the phone. On the screen is a TikTok, maybe some influencer breaking down the stitching on a new jacket or why the fabric on this specific STU is perfect for spring.
Super specific.
Hyper specific. And the customer asks something like, is this the version with the reinforced hem that just dropped? And your associate just freezes.
That silence, it is absolutely deafening.
Yeah. It's worse than painful. It's expensive. Because the associate, they haven't seen that video. Maybe they haven't even seen the product out of the box yet.
They're panicked.
Totally panicked. They stammer something generic like, oh, let me check in the back, or I think so. And right there, that's the moment.
The whole energy just shifts. The customer puts the phone away, looks a little disappointed, maybe even a little smug. Because they know more.
They know more than the person wearing the name tag.
That moment right there is the nightmare. That is what we're calling the credibility gap. And looking at the source material we have today, for anyone in retail leadership, that gap is where your brand authority goes to die.
It's a terrifying dynamic when you really sit with it. We're doing a deep dive today into exactly why that moment happens and, more importantly, how to fix it.
We're analyzing a great article, actually. It's titled The Rise of Visual Product Knowledge Training, published today, February 5th, 2026, by Multimedia Plus.
And it is so timely because it gets at this fundamental shift in the power dynamic of retail. It used to be the associate was the gatekeeper, right?
Absolutely. You had to talk to them to know the specs, the sizes, the materials. Now, the customers walking in armed with 4K video reviews they watched in the parking lot.
And if your associate can't match that level of information, their ability to influence the sale just evaporates.
It's gone. It shifts from expert guidance to what you called it, transactional clerking.
Yeah. They aren't selling anymore. They're just ringing things up, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. So our mission today is to unpack this. We're going to look at why traditional training methods are failing to close this gap.
And we're going to talk about a new category the source identifies called visual product knowledge and get into the operational weeds of how AI and infrastructure are the only way to really fix this at scale.
Right. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about making fun videos. It's about operational survival.
Okay, so let's start with the environment itself. The source material makes a really aggressive point about the speed of retail. It just feels like the RPMs have gone through the roof.
It is relentless. I mean, think about the cadence of a modern floor. You've got new drops, seasonal collections, brand collabs, flash sales.
It's not like 20 years ago where you had a spring line and a fall line and that was it.
Not at all. And the expectation on the associate is just wild. There's supposed to be what the article calls an overnight expert. The truck arrives at 8 a.m., the product's on the floor at 10, and a customer walks in at 10:05.
And expects the associate to know the entire backstory of the fabric.
Precisely. And here is where the system breaks down. How are we currently training them to be experts in that 2-hour window? In most places, it's what the source calls static formats.
Static formats. That sounds like a polite corporate way of saying boring paperwork.
It is. We're talking slide decks, PDFs, checklists. Read this PDF about the new collection and sign here to say you did it.
The binder in the break room.
Yes. Or the text-heavy module on the LMS that you just click through as fast as possible to get it done.
But let me just play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
For the executives listening, PDFs are cheap. They're easy to update. Why is that such a problem?
It's the cognitive disconnect. I have to use an analogy. Imagine trying to learn a TikTok dance, but instead of watching the video, someone hands you a textbook.
Oh.
Step 1, move left foot 45 degrees. You technically have the information, but can you dance?
Not a chance. I'd look ridiculous.
You definitely can't dance with any rhythm or confidence, and that's the issue. Static training, reading a PDF, it might tick a compliance box. HR is happy.
Right, they have a signature.
But it doesn't stick. It doesn't translate to actual behavior on the sales floor.
So the customer learned about the product through this, like high energy, visual, engaging video, and the associate learned about it from a bulleted list.
That is the crux of the credibility gap. The customer's information quality is just superior to the associate's. The customer has seen it move, seen it on a model. The associate is bringing a knife to a gunfight.
A butter knife at that. We have to talk about who is actually working on these floors. The source brings up the Gen Z factor explicitly.
You can't ignore the demographic reality. Your frontline workforce is largely Gen Z. How do they consume information in their personal lives? It's video first.
Short form, real time.
Absolutely. If they want to fix a leaky faucet, they don't read a manual, they watch a YouTube walkthrough. If they want to understand a world event, they watch a TikTok explainer.
They certainly are not going to the library to check out a reference book.
No. And yet, they clock into work, and we hand them a binder or make them click through a text-heavy slide deck on some prehistoric learning system. It's completely alien to how their brains are wired.
It feels like a punishment, honestly. It feels like school, and not the good kind of school.
Yeah. It creates friction, and the source is very clear on this. When there's friction, learning stops. If you want them to absorb information instantly, you have to deliver it in the format they're native to.
You have to speak their language.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the solution proposed in the article. They call it visual product knowledge training. Now, I want to be skeptical for a second. Is this just a fancy rebranding of training videos?
That's a great question.
Because companies have been doing training videos since the VHS era. I remember watching those grainy papes.
Right, and that's a critical distinction the source makes. A lot of companies think, oh, we have video training. But if it's a 20-minute lecture from a manager on a webcam, that's not what we're talking about?
Or a generic brand video that's just fluff.
Correct. The source defines this as a distinct category designed to show, sell, and scale.
Show, sell, scale. I like the tagline, but let's break down the show and sell part. What is this content actually doing that a PDF can't?
According to the source, it does 4 specific things. First, it clarifies differentiation. It shows you exactly what makes this product unique. Visuals can show texture, scale, and detail instantly.
Which takes paragraphs to explain in text. And nobody reads the paragraphs.
Nobody. Second, it shows fit, feel, and function in action. You can see the drape of a fabric when a model walks. You can see how a gadget snaps together. You get a sense of the physics of it.
That's huge for apparel. How does this sit on the shoulders? You just can't write that. You have to show it.
Exactly. Third, and this is the one I think is most valuable for revenue, it highlights key selling language.
So it gives them the actual words to use.
Yes. It's not just, this is 100% cotton. It's hearing a confident voice say, this cotton is breathable so you stay cool. It models the script.
So it's mimicry. You're giving them a script they can internalize.
The difference between a spec sheet and a story. And fourth, it provides real-life, real-store examples. It grounds the product in reality.
It really seems like it all boils down to confidence. The article talks about the psychological impact. If I'm an associate and I've seen someone else sell it successfully on video, I feel like I can do it.
Confidence is the antidote to the credibility gap. When an associate freezes, it's usually because they're terrified of being wrong, of looking stupid.
Right.
Visual training replaces that fear with familiarity. They've seen the sale happen already. So when they open their mouth, they're not guessing. They're repeating a winning formula.
But here's the problem, and I know listeners are thinking this. Okay, great. We need high-quality videos for every single product drop. But video is expensive, and it takes forever.
That has historically been the barrier, the constraint of speed. The traditional production cycle is just too slow. You hire a crew, cast talent, rent a studio, shoot, edit.
By the time that's done, the product is already on the clearance rack.
Exactly. You're always chasing your tail.
Yeah.
But the source material introduces a really interesting twist here, and it involves AI.
Okay, let's talk about the AI. Because when I hear AI video, I immediately picture those robotic, uncanny valley avatars that don't blink right.
I had the same skepticism.
I mean, if I'm a luxury brand, I cannot put that in front of my staff. It just looks cheap. Does the source address the quality?
It does, and it's very specific about this. They talk about their designed by MMP approach, and they emphasize that these are not robotic avatars reading scripts. The words they use are human, natural, and on-brand.
So it passes the sniff test.
It sounds like it. But the real value isn't just that it looks good, it's the speed. The source says they can generate these videos in hours, not weeks.
Hours.
That's the game changer.
So theoretically, the truck arrives at 8 a.m., and the training is built and deployed by, what, noon?
It allows you to be agile in a way that was impossible before. Let's go back to our credibility gap example. A product goes viral on Tuesday morning.
A celebrity word on Instagram.
Right. By Tuesday afternoon, you can have an AI-generated training video on every associate's device explaining why it's trending and how to style it.
That closes the gap. The associate is learning in real time, just like the customer.
Exactly. You're matching the customer speed. You just can't do that if you're waiting to book a film crew. By the time you wrap production, the viral moment is over.
Okay, so we've got the content. We have these amazing AI-generated high-speed videos. We've solved the what, but now we run into the how. And this is the unsexy, practical part that usually kills these projects, the infrastructure.
The infrastructure hurdle. This is where so many great digital initiatives go to die a quiet death.
The source calls it the spinning wheel problem,
Yeah.
which gives me PTSD just hearing it.
We've all seen it. You're in a store, you try to load a video on a corporate device, and it just buffers.
And buffers.
And buffers. But why is that? I can stand in the parking lot and stream Netflix on my phone with 5G. Why can't I stream a training video inside the store on the company iPad? Is it just cheap routers?
It's way more complicated. It's the tech trap of retail. Stores are not coffee shops. They are PCI-compliant environments.
PCI compliance. The payment card industry security standards. Right. The network in a store exists for one primary reason.
Right.
To process credit cards securely. So it has heavy firewalls, intense security protocols, and often very limited bandwidth because retailers aren't going to pay for massive data pipes at 2,000 locations.
So if the choice is process the sale or play the video, the network is always going to prioritize the sale.
Always. And it should. You never want to slow down the cash register. But that means if you try to stream HD training videos to thousands of stores, you get lag, you get buffering, or it's just blocked by the firewall.
And what does the associate do when they see that spinning wheel?
They quit immediately. They put the device down. They see it as a tech hurdle, not a training opportunity. They think this doesn't work, and they go back to the floor.
And now all that beautiful AI content you made is worthless.
Utterly worthless because nobody saw it. It's amazing how a little technical glitch can derail a massive strategy.
So how do we solve that? The source mentions a platform called Insight.
This is the specific solution for the infrastructure problem. Non-streaming delivery. The Insight platform is designed to overcome that bandwidth issue by making sure the content is instant on.
How does Instant On work if the internet is bad?
It downloads the content to the device in the background, probably during off-peak hours, or through a trickle feed that doesn't mess with the POS system. So when the associate hits play, the file is already there. It's local.
So no buffering.
No buffering, no broken links. It works offline or in low bandwidth spots.
That seems like such a small technical detail screaming versus non-streaming, but it sounds like it makes or breaks the whole strategy.
It absolutely does. And you have to connect this back to the executive listening. You can invest millions in AI content, but if the video doesn't play instantly when that associate has 90 seconds of downtime, the credibility gap remains wide open.
Because it won't wait.
They won't wait, and they won't learn. The delivery mechanism is just as important as the content itself.
So let's zoom out. We've built the whole picture here. We have the content visual, AI-driven, fast. We've got the delivery non-streaming, instant, robust. What's the payoff? Why does the CFO care?
Right. The source lists 3 pillars of ROI, and they frame this as moving from training to sales enablement. That shift in terminology is important.
The first one was accelerates readiness.
Speed to competency. This is about turnover. You hire someone today, how long until they're actually useful? With visual, mobile-first training, they learn faster and retain more. They're floor-ready in hours, not days.
Number 2, elevates execution.
This is about the quality of the conversation on the floor. Better product knowledge, specifically visual knowledge, leads to better interactions. It kills the credibility gap.
They can say, actually, let me show you this hidden feature instead of, I don't know.
Exactly. It turns them into a brand ambassador, not just a clerk.
And number 3, the big one. Drives measurable sales impact.
Confidence converts. That is the bottom line. When an associate is confident, they approach more customers. They ask better questions, they overcome objections, and that leads to higher conversion rates and bigger basket sizes.
It's interesting how they frame it as sales enablement. For so long, I feel like training was seen as an HR function. You know, did everyone complete the safety module?
Well, it was about compliance. Did they tick the box? But this shift transforms training into a revenue driver. It's about arming your team to win the sale. A strategic weapon, not a bureaucratic requirement.
It's basically giving your troops the right ammunition. If you send them out with empty guns or empty heads, You can't expect them to win.
And in this metaphor, the customer is the one with the superior weaponry right now. They have the data, the visuals, the reviews.
So let's just quickly recap this journey because there's a lot here for our listeners to digest.
It's a clear narrative, really. Retail is moving faster than ever. The customer is more informed than ever. And traditional static training, the PDFs and decks, is just too slow and too boring to keep up.
It fails to stick. It's analog training for a digital world.
Correct. So the solution is visual product knowledge, training, showing, and selling, not just telling. To do that at the speed of retail, you need AI to generate content in hours.
And to deliver it without crashing the network, you need a non-streaming platform like Insight.
It's a complete ecosystem. Content plus infrastructure equals execution.
And execution equals sales.
Simple as that.
It really makes you rethink the humble training video. It's not just a video anymore. It's the front line of your brand's defense.
It's the difference between a brand that feels authoritative and current and one that feels, tired and out of touch.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought, a little challenge, if you will.
Go for it.
If you're a retail executive, I want you to audit your current training tools. Not what you think is happening, but what is actually happening. Go into a store. Ask an associate to show you how they learn about a new product.
That is a dangerous game. You might not like what you see.
You might see them pull out a crumpled checklist or try to load a video that just spins for 45 seconds before they give up. And then I want you to ask yourself, are you giving your associates a PDF to fight a battle against a customer armed with 4K video reviews?
That is the question. Because if you are, you aren't just losing the sale. You're losing the authority of your brand. You're basically telling the customer, you care more about this product than we do.
Ouch, that stings, but it's the truth. And in retail, the truth is what shows up on the P&L.
Absolutely. The credibility gap is real, but it is fixable. You just have to equip your people to close it.
Well said. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and good luck closing that gap.
See you next time.